We import PyTorch. Then we print the torch version we are using. We are using 0.2.0_4. We construct an uninitialized PyTorch tensor. We define a variable x and set it equal to torch.tensor3, 3, 3. We can then print that tensor to see what we created. A few things to note looking at the printing. First, all the entries are uninitialized. Second, the last line tells us it is a float tensor. Third, printing the tensor tells us what type of PyTorch tensor it is. And 4, by default, PyTorch tensors are created using floating numbers. Next, let's create a second tensor, random tensor, using the PyTorch ran functionality. This random tensor is a PyTorch tensor where each entry is a random number pulled from a uniform distribution from 0 to 1. To see what the random tensor type is without actually printing the whole tensor, we can pass the random_tensor to the Python type function. From this, you can see that it is a PyTorch float tensor. Finally, we define an uninitialized PyTorch int tensor, which only holds integers. Even though we know it's an int tensor since we defined it that way, we can still check the type of the tensor. We can see that it is in fact a PyTorch int tensor.